and welcome to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. We are going to be previewing the game between Barcelona and Valencia in La Liga. I know a lot of people don't want to think about this game right now, but life does go on. I believe that I've done a preview for every game so far this season, so I'm going to do one for this. I'm going to move on, we're going to look at the game, we're going to try not to talk too much about the Roma defeat, we're going to look at our opposition and analyse what we need to do to get ourselves back on track with 7 games in La Liga to go. As always, guys, the previews come to you courtesy of the OneFootball app, which can always be found in the description down below. 87% of OneFootball app users believe that Barcelona will beat Valencia on Saturday afternoon. That's a higher percentage than I was imagining. I thought a lot of people on there maybe wouldn't go with Barca this time, but they have done. But in my own poll, it's a bit of a different story. Usually a lot of positivity, usually a lot of confidence. Today, though, a lot more people seem to be going with either draw or losing this game. Still, though, as it stands, the majority believe we win by 2+ goals on Saturday, but still, there are people that believe we won't win this one, and I'll be giving my prediction at the end, and I have to say, I think deep down, this could really go one way or another. Before we start, guys, here is the league table. La Liga, of course, still progressing, still trying to win that league title. We are top by 11 points ahead of Atletico Madrid. Valencia there, as you can see, in 3rd position, no pushovers, a very strong team, a really good outfit under Marcelino. They're currently ahead of Real Madrid in the league by 2 points, and it looks almost certain now like Valencia will be playing Champions League football again next season, so certainly can't write them off. We got a good lead at the top, but Atletico Madrid this weekend face a pretty easy game on Sunday at home against Levante. Levante have got a lot of injuries, a lot of players out at the moment. They should certainly get through that Atletico, so we have to beat Valencia, or we then put ourselves at risk of that gap being slashed. Kickoff will be coming to us at 4:15 local time in Barcelona, and here are the times right around the world, guys, where you are. And I have to say, I'm unsure tomorrow on what the attendance is going to be like. I really don't know how many people are going to turn up for this one. Will there be some people who stay away after Tuesday? I'm really interested to see how many Sochis, how many fans come out and see this game. It's going to be very interesting. And like I say, this is a huge test of our mental strength, of the players, the strength of the coach, and exactly what the situation is right now with Ernesto Valverde and his players. But I'm going to talk about Valencia. We've spoken a lot about Barcelona, we've spoken a lot about Tuesday. I'm going to now look at our opposition, what they can do to us. And like I say, Valencia in 3rd place, 2 points ahead of Real, and they've been really, really impressive in recent weeks. Back to their very best, recapturing that blistering form that they showcased at the start of the season. And you'll remember at the start of the season, when we faced them in November, they were genuine title contenders at that stage, and they're looking really, really good right now. Their last loss, actually, in all competitions, came back when we faced them in February in the Copa del Rey, when we beat them 2-0 at the Mestalla. So since then, they've gone on a run of 8 wins in their last 9 games. They're having a rest nearly every other, week sort of thing. They play a game and they have 7 days rest. They're usually only playing 1 game per week, and they're actually going to have 8 days rest between this game and their last game, which they won at home against Espanyol by 1-0. So Marcelino has had a lot of time, 8 days to prepare his team, to mentally recover them and get them ready for this game. He has never ever beaten Barcelona as a coach, but I really believe that tomorrow, coming into this game, Valencia will believe. They will believe they can come to the Camp Nou to beat us. They know we're in a tough time, and we will have to be ready for what they're going to throw at us. Because like I say, they've been able to have a lot of rest. They got key players back in good form right now. The likes of Guedes are firmly back in form. We've got Rodrigo up front, who's really finding the back of the net right now. He currently has 15 La Liga goals and is Valencia's top goal scorer this season, and we need to watch out for him. He, of course, scored in the controversial reverse fixture, like I mentioned back in November, the 1-1 draw at Mestalla, which obviously had that controversial disallowed goal from Lionel Messi. But now, of course, we do have to move on to the small matter of Barcelona. And this, like I say, is going to be so interesting. There's really interesting points that I want to see the answers to. Number 1, how are the players going to react to what happened in Rome on Tuesday? They looked distraught on the pitch, they looked defeated, they looked tired, they looked exhausted in the way they played. And then off the pitch as well, we've seen them looking really down, really depressed almost, like a lot of us have been feeling, to be honest, after the game. And even in the training sessions that have been broadcasted this week, you can see the kind of atmosphere that surrounded the entire squad over the past few days. The big question is, can they bounce back from it? And can they bounce back from it this soon? Just a few days after the game, it's a really tough one to come back into. Will they bounce back? And then my second point would be all about Ernesto Valverde. Does he still have control of that dressing room room? Does he still believe that he's in charge of Barcelona, that he has the authority, that the players are still believing in his ideas after it all went wrong against Roma? There's been rumours in the Spanish press this week, quite a few things about Valverde, about his players, incidents with Piqué on the pitch, with Lionel Messi was mentioned as well. Will he stick with his methods? Will he stick with that 4-4-2? Will he be rigid? Will he be cautious? Will he worry about Valencia? Or now is it the time that we finally see Valverde maybe uncovered? Maybe he's going to come out and show a different side to him. I'm not so sure that's going to happen, but now would be the time to see that and to really unleash a different side of this coach. And that does bring me on to his official squad selection today, where I have to say, looking at that, there really isn't much change from the usual Ernesto Valverde. Yerry Mina continues to be frozen out. He is not included, with Alex Vidal joining him away from the squad. Rakitic had surgery on a hand injury, and Digne is not quite ready to return to the squad after his injury. Ter Stegen, Semedo, Piqué, Busquets, Denis Suarez is still there. Iniesta, Luis Suarez, Messi, Dembele, Silasen, Coutinho back, of course, for La Liga action. Paulinho, Alcácer, Alba, Roberto, Gomez, Umtiti, and Thomas Vermaelen make the squad for tomorrow's game. And that brings me on to my starting lineup. I think it's really important here that we certainly rotate certain players, and not even rotate as in we're going to rest them for later on. I think we simply just need to take them out of the line, because like I said, we looked absolutely exhausted. They cannot keep leaving them out there. We cannot keep forcing them through these games if they simply can't do it. We've got a squad of players, now it's time to use them, and this would be the squad that I would go with against Valencia. And as always, guys, I am going to talk you through each selection. We will start in goal with Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, the only player really who can keep his head held firmly high after that Roma game. Jordi Alba at left back, simply because there's not a lot else. He's not called up Cucurella, he's not called up anyone from Barcelona B. No B team player appeared in the Champions League this season for the first time in many, many years. Semedo at right back, and we'll go on to that because obviously Roberto is in midfield. I'm going to come on to that in a minute. I would personally start with Thomas Vermaelen alongside Gerard Piqué. Now that's not really singling Samuel Umtiti out. I just think since the rumours have started about Man United, there's a lot of rumours about his wages, of course, his contract, it's all a bit unresolved. I think right now, take Umtiti out of the team. I don't know where his head is at right now. He's made a few very uncharacteristic mistakes in the last few games, and bring in Vermaelen, who, let's face it, has been absolutely brilliant. Every time we've called upon him, he's been really good, he's been really solid. He played against Valencia in the game in the league. Play him in this game alongside Piqué, and I think those two can get the job done and keep it tight at the back, which we desperately need. Then moving on to midfield, the really difficult decision was this one about Sergio Busquets, simply because he's one of those players that you know right now is not 100% fit. But the problem is, with no Rakitic as well, there's not really a suitable player to come in and take that role. You could play Andre Gomez there, but obviously in a game of this magnitude, it's not going to be an easy game. I can see Ernesto Valverde playing Sergio Busquets, going out there, even if he's not 100% fit. I think he's probably likely to play in this game. And for me, we absolutely have to play three in midfield. It has to be the time now where Valverde says, you know what, I've got to go for it. 4-3-3 is the Barcelona way. It allows you three in midfield. Even if then Valverde wants to defend, he can call on Coutinho and Dembele to do defensive work, and then technically you've got five. You've got five players then who can track back, who can track Guedes, who can track their wingers and fullbacks. You can still do that, but then you still have, when you really need it, when you need some firepower up front, a real threat on the break, somebody to get in behind. You've got Coutinho from the left, you've got Dembele from the right, and then you've got Lionel Messi. You can play in this role here, he can drop in, he can play in false nine, he can dictate the play, he can pick up the ball and be the playmaker, but then he's still got two very, very good options going in behind, giving him the outlets that he needs to be creative, because against Roma, Messi can get the ball here, but there was nobody making those runs. Suarez was very static, and that's why I've not got Suarez in the team today. You guys know that I absolutely love Luis Suarez, but right now, just like Umtiti, I'd take him out the firing line. He looks exhausted, he's not showing the kind of energy, he's not making the same runs, he's not being as effective as usual. You can play Messi in here, and then you can create a very, very flexible front three. Coutinho and Dembele give Messi massive options, they give us width, which we've desperately craved all season long, and then you can have Iniesta and Roberto playing as interiors in a midfield three. We have called on Roberto and Semedo to start all season long together, but not in a right wing role. You do not want to be playing Sergio Roberto out here. This is his position here. He's got all the technical qualities to also then help out Semedo at right back, because if you remember at the Mestalla, Guedes down the left hand side and Gaia together caused enormous problems. What you don't do is then start Roberto at right back and Semedo, because then you're allowing Valencia, just we saw against Roma, to come onto us. That gives them the emphasis and the confidence they need to really come onto us. You play Dembele here to force Gaia back. Make sure that he doesn't make the runs by simply making him stay there, because he knows that Gaia, if he moves, Dembele's in. He's in behind him and he's leaving a massive space. You play Roberto here to cover for Semedo when he needs it, when he needs an extra bit of protection. Roberto can easily slot over here because he understands the role, he understands the position, and that way we can solidify that right-hand side, but we also give ourselves that massive outlet and that attacking threat that we do so desperately need. 4-3-3 is the way to go. You need to be offensive, you need to be pragmatic. If we need to, then when we're defending, you can get extra players back to help, you can make them work hard, but we have to make some changes in this game. I think Vermaelen coming in would be good. Umtiti needs a rest. Suarez the same. Play Messi in that false 9 role. Coutinho and Dembele either side of him. Let them go out there and prove their price tags. Give them the opportunity they deserve to take this chance and really go out there and show Valencia what we can do. So like I said, guys, I would come on with my prediction. If we start 4-3-3, if we start offensive, if we give something to give the fans to get behind us, maybe we can get over the line in this one. I see this one going one of two ways. If we start on the offensive, if we're pragmatic, if we go into this with a positive outlook, we can win this game, and I think actually we can put in a very good performance, because these players will want to bounce back, and you know that at the Camp Nou. But if we don't, if Valverde is still resolute, is still solid, is still cautious, and doesn't get the fans behind them, it could become a very tense, a very nervy atmosphere on Saturday, and I would fear the worst. I either see us winning this game and playing well and winning 2-0, maybe even 3-1, 3-0 if we put in a good display. But if we don't, and the Camp Nou becomes nervy, and these players start doubting themselves again, we could very, very easily end up losing this game. Leave your lineup and your score predictions in the comments down below, guys. It is going to be a difficult one to move straight onto, but like I say, life does go on, and Barcelona and those players out there, they will want to hit back, and we do still have the title to play for. I will see you tomorrow for the game. Enjoy your weekend. But until then, as always, Vasca El Barça.